All right, algebra. We're going to start a unit on statistics, okay? We're going to spend this whole week doing something called linear regression. Now, first off, if you do not have a graphing calculator, this is the app you should download. I wrote it here, and I'm going to post it on the Google Classroom. It's Calculate 84, okay? Because these statistics things we're going to do, you can't do with the other apps. So this is the app you want, all right? Now, we're going to do, on this first one, we're going to do a scatter plot. You're never going to do this other than now, but it helps to understand one concept, which is correlation coefficient, right? So here's this problem. A study was conducted to determine if the amount of time spent studying affects the scores on a Regents exam. The table given indicates the amount of time spent studying and the score they got on a Regents exam. All right. I'm going to plot these points. Now, you should pause the video and create your scale. Now, the scale is really 5. But to not make a mess out of it, I labeled every other box. So if it's starting at 0, it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I'm labeling every 10, but every box is 5. And I made it go up to 100 because my highest score is 100. So now you should pause the video, plot these points, right? Or watch me plot some. All right, so the first point's 380. So I go over to 3, and I'm going to go up to 80. Okay, every 2 boxes on the X is 1, if you notice. Now I'm going to check these off as I go. I'm going to go over 5 and up 90. All right, over 2, up 75, which is going to be between 70 and 80. All right, over 6, up 80. All right, check them off as you go so you know you got them all. Then you got 790. Okay, sometimes you're going to have the same Y value, so they might be next to each other like this. That doesn't mean you necessarily made a mistake. All right, 150. 265. 785. 140. And 100. Okay, now, what you should notice is that as the time increases, the score increases. And if you were to try to draw a line of best fit here, you see how the line left to right would be going up. We would say that's a positive correlation. Now, we could try to draw this line, but it's really not necessary. The calculator is actually going to help us come up with this line, what the equation is. So we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept. All this is going to be done using the calculator. Now, the first thing you need is if you actually have the calculator, you need to turn on something called the diagnostics. But I'm going to show you that after. All right? So, check this out. All this is pretty much done using one button. This button that says Stat. It's to the left of the arrows right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in this data. The way you do it, you hit Stat. If you need to, you're going to go back, pause the video, go back and follow these instructions. If you want to get out of it, you hit second mode and it gets you out. So I go Stat. Edit is where we're going to put in, we're going to actually put in these values here in the calculator. So you go again, you go Stat, you're on Edit, you hit Enter. If there are values there, you want to hit the up arrow to the top. See how list 2 is highlighted? Hit clear and hit the down arrow and it clears out everything in that column. Go up to the list, make sure you hit clear, not delete. Hit clear and then it clears it out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in all of these values in order, the way they are. I'm not going to try to put them in order least to greatest. I'm going to put them in the order they gave me. So study hours is the X, that's list 1. Regent score is the Y, that's list 2. So I'm going to put all the X's in first. So I put in 3. I'm going to put in 5. You type the number in, you hit enter. 2, enter. Okay, 6, enter. 7, enter. 1, enter. 2, enter. 7, enter. 1, enter. 7, enter. All right? And again, the way I get here is if I was anywhere on the calculator, you hit stat, you hit enter, you put the list in. Now I'm going to put all the y's in. So I'm going to hit the right arrow, and I'm going to type in all of the y's. So the first one was 80. You type the number in, you hit enter. 90, enter. 75, enter. 80, enter. 90, hit enter. 50, 65, 85, 40, 100. You should have the same amount of things in list 1 as in list 2. And what you really should do is go up and match it. See, 7, 100. 140, I'm going backwards up. 785, I'm making sure that the X and Y's are match up. 150, 790, 680, 275, 590, 380. Everything's there. Everything is with this stat button. All right, so now I'm going to answer B. B says, use the calculator to find the equation for the line of best fit. Round the slope to the nearest tenth and the y-intercept to the nearest integer. You do all this with the calculator. Our data is entered. You're going to hit stat. If you look next to edit, it says calculate. You're going to hit the right arrow. If you scroll down, you're going to see something that says linear regression. That's what they asked us to find. Linear regression. You hit enter. All this stuff's going to pop up. Now, if you're using the app, it's slightly different. You're just going to keep hitting enter until this pops up. Now, for whatever reason, they call it y equals ax plus b. If you recall, we use mx plus b. But we're going to just write ax plus b. Okay? Then they tell us, look, A equals 6.273. B equals 49.779. A is your slope because that's next to the x. B is the y-intercept. That's the constant. So now I'm going to write the equation. It says round the slope to the nearest tenth. So that's the 2. The 7's going to make me go up. So y equals 6.3x. So I'm putting A in place of A here. And then I'm going to put the B in place of the B there. Y-intercept round says round to the nearest integer. So I'm looking at the 9. The 7's going to make me go up to 50. So this is my equation. Y equals 6.3x plus 50. All right? Then they could ask questions. They could ask you to interpret things based on your equation. Based on your equation, what score would a student that studies for 4 hours expect to get on the Regents exam? Now, if you go back to the table, remember, time is always the x. In this case, the score is the y. They're telling me 4 hours, so they're giving me the x. So what do you think we're going to do? We're going to take this 4 and we're going to plug it into our equation. 6.3 times 4 plus 50. All right, and I'm going to just plug that right in, right? 6.3 times 4 plus 50. And I get 75.2, which we're going to round to 75. All right, now, this is important. This does not mean if you study 4 hours, you're getting a 75. Depending on the subject, some students may be better at certain subjects, and maybe they could study none at all and get a 90. All right? This is simply a prediction. This is a prediction, a predicted score, or the score that you would predict you would get based on this equation. This is not set in stone. This is just an approximation. Okay? All right, next. Determine the correlation coefficient. This is the R value. Now I'm going to go back just to show you, and I'm going to do the linear regression again. So I go back to stat. I don't need to edit because my stuff's already there. I really just need to go stat, calculate, back to 4, linear regression, and hit enter. And you're going to notice all I get is AX plus B, A, and B. There should be an R value here. And if that R value does not come up, this is what you have to do. Okay? You're going to see above the 0 in blue, it says catalog. So we got to hit second catalog. So you're going to hit the second button here and then the 0 button. And you're going to scroll down. You got to get to where it says diagnostics on. And this is alphabetical. So I'm in C's. So I'm getting close to getting there. All right? Eventually you're going to see diagnostic off, diagnostic on. So again, if you need to, pause the video, hit second catalog, scroll down to diagnostic on. So second, 0, diagnostic on. That's what you need. You're going to hit enter. It's going to pop up again. You hit enter. Now we're going to go back. Now this time the R value is going to come up. You go stat. You go over to calculate. There's no need to put the data back in. Right? If I go back to edit, actually, you'll see all the data is still there. So I'm just going to go back and do it again. Stat, calculate. Go down to linear regression. And then you notice you're going to get, after B, you're going to get R squared and then R. We want the R value. Once you do this thing with the diagnostics on, you should never have to do it again unless you reset the calculator. And the app already has it on. So that thing with the catalog, you're not going to need to do if you're using the app. But if you're using the calculator, you might have to turn it on. So R is 0.8547. I'm going to go 8. It should tell you what to round to. It doesn't. But let's round to the nearest hundredth, let's say, which is 2 place values. So that's going to be 0.85. Right? The closer this number is to 1, the stronger the correlation. So 0.85, this is close to 1. This is a strong correlation. It's positive, so it's actually a strong positive correlation. And the reason why it's positive is if you look, the data's going up. If the data was going down like this, then it would be a negative correlation. All right? I'm going to do the next example on another video, and that's probably going to wrap it up for Monday. And then Tuesday, you'll do more practice. All right? Again, the closer this value is to 1, the stronger the correlation. So if this value was like, say, 0.5, that would be moderate. The closer you are to 0, the weaker it is. Let's say R was 0.3, that would be a weak correlation. All right? 0.8, 0.9, 0.95, close to 1, strong. Halfway between 0 and 1, moderate. Really close to 0, weak. All right? All right. Talk to you soon.